Hi everyone. Hi Steve. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Hopefully this light is all right. It is like dark and raining, and I've got a light set up. So hopefully that will work because I can't get over how dark it is. It is just like nighttime. Wait for a few people to get on before we get started, but let me know where you're tuning in from. I hope you've been having a good weekend. I can't believe it's Sunday already. Oh, thanks, Steve. Yeah, it's a little bit dark here, but we can work with that. So as you can see, I have heaps of greens that I've picked from the garden for our green pizzas that we're going to make today. So not only is the toppings going to be mainly green, but the dough is also going to be green, which is really fun. I have made this once before, but it was a while ago, so I hope I can do it again. We'll see. We'll just wing it. I mean, we're live, so anything can happen, but hopefully we get some really delicious green pizzas. New South Wales Vic border. Awesome, Steve. So what's the time over there? So I've been trying to pick a really good time to do my lives so that I can accommodate as many people as I can. I guess most of my audience is Australia, New Zealand, and America. So it's 4 o'clock here and it's 8 o'clock in New Zealand. So is that 6 o'clock in New South Wales? 7. Daylight saving is really confusing because WA doesn't have daylight savings. 6 o'clock. Okay, we got it. All right, so as I said, we're going to make green pizza. Of course, Tama is going to, my dog, the neighbor's cat walks past. Usually it's at 6:30. Maybe it's a bit earlier today. And he barks at the neighbor's cat. Come on, come here. Do you want some cheese? I'll bribe him with cheese. All right, so what we have got to do today is first we've got to make the dough so that we can get it rising, and then while the dough is rising a little bit, we will cut up all the toppings and make the pizza. Do you want some cheese? Pinjarra, not raining here. Oh, that's lucky. It didn't really rain much today, a little bit off and on, but we just had a big shower. It's sort of, every time I look out, it's something different. All right, so to make the dough, what we're going to do is basically what we're going to do is we're going to blend up a whole bunch of greens in with the water that we use for the pizza dough. So any sort of pizza recipe, you'll have water and flour. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the water green, and that way when we put it into the dough, it'll be hopefully a brilliant green color with lots of veggies in there. So when I did this last time, it worked really well, and when it cooked, it stayed pretty green when it was cooked. I do have the recipe for this on my website, but it is using beetroot juice, and so it is bright pink, and so that's another option that you can do, is do a bright pink pizza. So if you do have a look for this pizza recipe on my website, it will be under a pink pizza, but today obviously we're going to make a green one. So let's get started. I'm going to use a NutriBullet, and my NutriBullet has had a hard life and started leaking, so I do need to replace it, but I've tried to find extra parts and it's quite hard to find. You sort of need to buy the whole thing, which is annoying. So is this light. I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, so I've got this big bowl here that I've picked from the garden, and what we've got in here is we've got a little baby broccoli that I'm going to put on the pizza. We've got some broccolini as well. I've got these giant nasturtium leaves. I've got a few nasturtiums that we're going to use the nasturtium in the dough. So they're going to be blended up and mixed in with the water to make the dough. And also sweet potato leaves with some bugs. We don't care about that. There's no actual bugs on there. So to get the brightest coloured green pizza, you want the darker leaves. So the darker the green, the more bright green your pizza is going to be. So these lighter ones, like the rainbow chard, won't make that green as strong. So we'll try and get quite a few of these sweet potato leaves because they're nice and dark green. I've also picked these. This is like a spring onion, but it's a red one. Like, I'm actually not sure what they're called. I think it's like a red bunching onion or something, but they're really nice. They're quite mild. And then again, more sweet potato that we're going to put into our green juice, kind of. And I'm just going to pick these leaves off. And then what I can do with this, take the stems. Oh, there's the culprit. Coming for his cheese bribe that I'm not going to give him. No, sorry. So I can just pop this in a jar of water and then it'll grow roots and you can replant the sweet potato. Also, it's a really nice house plant. I use these sometimes in just jars of water as house plants because they last for ages, like months and months. Pop that in here. I've got a jar here. This one's got a mulberry cutting in it. It's got a root. There was little baby mulberries, but so I'll just pop that in there to root and the leaves in here. Just gonna shove all these in here. So I'm probably going to use, I guess, so that's probably one handful. I might do closer to 2 handfuls of greens in here. The more greens, obviously, the greener the dough will be. And then this, you know what this is? Can anyone guess what this is? It's actually a weed. It's an edible weed. Growing wild at the moment in the garden. And I guess, like, if you're going to have weeds, they may as well be edible weeds. So, purslane. No, it's not purslane, but I do get a lot of purslane in my garden, and that is an edible weed. I think that's more, pops up in summer. But this is chickweed. So it has little yellow flowers on it, which is nice and pretty, and you can pop that in a salad or whatever, stir fry. And eat the weeds. Alright. So the other thing I'm going to put in here is some of this beautiful rainbow chard. I'm going to put this as a topping on the pizza as well, sort of like a spinach, but I'm going to chuck some into the dough because they do have a darker leaf on some of these and I want that pigment in my dough. I keep my rainbow chard in a jar of water. You can't see him. He's just sitting down here waiting for some pizza. So yeah, you can keep, if you pick too much rainbow chard from the garden and you're like, I can't eat all this tonight, just pop it in a jar of water and that will keep throughout the week. Yeah, I've had mine in a jar for like nearly a week. And when I go to cook it, I'll just cut off the bottom and I replace the water, every day or something so that it doesn't get yucky. But that is a really good way to keep your rainbow chard fresh rather than putting it in the fridge and it will start to go limp and yuck. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with the comments. on you. No, Craig, this is not a weed that you smoke. This is a weed that you can eat. Weed pie. Oh, that is actually something that I wanted to try, was doing like a sort of spinach pie using weeds, because I feel like that would be fun. Nasturtiums grow everywhere. Like they pop up. They don't really like the summer here in Perth. I find it's a little bit too hot for them, so they'll just die off, but then they'll pop back up in summer. At the moment, yeah, they're going wild in my garden. Yes, rainbow chard. So I just love the color. Like I can't even deal how colorful these are. I've got a yellow one as well. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So I'm gonna just rip that off. And the stalks, I use these in stir fry. I actually pickled some rainbow chard stalks the other day, and I tried one today, and it was pretty good. They stay really crunchy. They don't go like soggy or anything like that. And they absorb all the flavor of the pickling liquid, so they just tasted like pickled crunchy stalks. All right. That is probably enough. That's probably 2 handfuls or 2 cups of greens in there. And now the recipe I'm using, which I stole from my mum, she makes lots of pizzas, is, I think it's 1 cup. I'm just going to double check on my recipe. 1.5 cups of lukewarm water. So we basically want to make 1.5 cups of green juice, liquid. So that's what we're going to do. Just get a cup here. Got 1 cup of cold water, and then I boiled this a little while ago, so it's still warm. 1.5. That's half a cup-ish. I'm not one for like really strict following recipes, although I do try. I'm getting better. All right, so I'm just warning, this is going to be loud and messy because my thing leaks. Get all those leaves down the bottom. I'll try to move this away, but it's not as loud. All right, so we just want to blend this up till it is liquid. And soak up the bit that's leaking. I am one of those people, I just keep things until like way beyond death. I do try and fix them, and I have tried to fix this, but I even tried to get Halen to fix it, but I think it's just gone. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but it's part of the fun, isn't it? Failures in the kitchen. Mine is just making weed stew. Okay. That's good enough. So we have our lukewarm water, which is green. Now what we're gonna, I can't open it. Mussels. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our yeast in here. And I normally put about 3 teaspoons of yeast, but I was making pizza the other day and my dough didn't rise, and I think the yeast was a bit old, it wasn't working. So I'm going to try these. I don't normally have these like individual sachets, but my yeast wasn't working, so I don't want to try that again. So we'll just do these, which will equal out to be 1 tablespoon of yeast. So I have a spoon. So just going to mix the yeast into our green. Look how dark it is. It's crazy. Like, what's the time? 4:15. Okay, so I've mixed this up, and I'm just going to leave this for a few minutes to start activating. It should start frothing up a little bit if the yeast is working, which it is. My one the other week just didn't do anything. So just pop that there, and I'll clean up my mess a little bit. Slash, I'll just put it in the sink. I could have put some parsley in there. I've got enough parsley to last a lifetime. I'm probably going to make pesto out of that parsley, and I'm supposed to be making pesto out of this fennel. This is a fennel frond, but I just haven't got around to it. So what I'm going to put on my pizza today is pesto, but it's pesto that I have frozen. So I froze it in an ice cube, like a big ice cube. This was pesto. It's fennel frond pesto. The reason I didn't make it is just because I normally make it in the NutriBullet, and my NutriBullet's having major issues. So I need a new O-ring. Yeah, I think I have a feeling like these little ridges on here, I don't know. I tried a few things, but it really was not happy. So anyway, we have pre-made pesto, so we don't need to make that, but I'm going to put this on my pizza because it's also going to be green, and it's from the garden. I just haven't made it right now. Okay. Got. Oh yes, and this is another spring onion that I've got from the garden that I planted from scraps. So if you buy spring onions at the supermarket, you can just cut off the little bit with the roots on it and chuck that in the garden, and it will regrow. And then when you go and harvest them the next time from the garden, just get your scissors and just cut it off at the base, and then that one that's still in the garden will regrow again. So I've done that with this. So it's like buy one, get heaps free, which I'm all about. Okay, so the rest of the dough is, we're going to do 4 cups of plain flour. This recipe makes 4 to 5 pizzas, which I'm not going to eat 4 to 5 pizzas. So the other thing that I've done is I'll just freeze the extra. I'll roll out all the bases and then freeze them so that when I want a quick meal, I can just grab one out of the freezer and then chuck the toppings on, and away we go. Cup. Because we'll try and measure this out a bit. So 4 cups of plain flour. I am not going to use a sieve because I'm just not. I feel like 1-ish. Two. 3. 4. If you want me to write this recipe out, I will do my best. So let me know if you want me to. Okay, so we've got our flour. Oh, I forgot. Hold on a second. I think I forgot to put the sugar in there. Yes. It's okay, we can do it. So 1 teaspoon of sugar. Obviously the yeast needs to feed on something. Clearly not good at multitasking. Too much going on. Anyway, back to our mix. We've got flour. We're going to put some salt and oil. So just get some salt. That is not salt. How much salt? 1 teaspoon of salt. I hope my mum's not watching this, although she is the queen of not following recipes. So if she can make great pizzas, I'm sure I can do it too. Salt and how much? Oil. 1 tablespoon of oil. And it's raining again. It's quite nice though. Cozy. Okay, so we've got our flour, our salt, and our oil. We got everything. Yes. It is starting to froth up a bit. Definitely should have put that sugar in. That's okay. You don't need super fat pizzas today. We can have thin pizzas that haven't risen. Would love the recipe. Okay, I will try and get the recipe up for you during the week because I did make this before and I have a few photos as well, so I can use those for the recipe. Okay. So you want to just leave this for usually like 5 minutes is fine to start activating the yeast, but I can see it's bubbling away in there. It smells like just greens. I don't know. Okay, so let's get ready to mix this in. This is such a messy thing. You can't really see how messy this is, which I kind of like because I'm a really messy cook. When I do my recipes, oh my gosh, like my whole kitchen is a bomb. But like this is like neat and contained. I like it. Oh, I'm going to put some of this on the pizza as well. This is a Hawaiian sweet potato that I picked. If you watched my garden harvest video, I picked this weird shaped sweet potato and I grew this one from scraps. So I found a Hawaiian sweet potato at the shops and you can just cut off a piece and put it in a jar of water and it will sprout and you can regrow it. And then I planted it in the garden and I've had it ever since. And now I just always have Hawaiian sweet potatoes, which are bright purple inside. I'm going to put some of that on the pizza because otherwise I'm just going to have a broccoli and greens and pesto, which is fine. We like that, but oh yeah, it's really starting to froth up now. Okay. I might just turn the oven on a little bit because normally what I would do is I would let this dough rise for an hour or so, but I'm not going to do that today because I don't have enough chat to keep you entertained for an hour while we wait for dough to rise. So we're not going to do that. Don't worry. I'm just going to warm the oven a little bit and I'll pop the dough in there to start to rise. And then while we're waiting for that, we'll just chop up all the ingredients and get them ready to chuck on the pizza. And we'll just do it quick because it's okay. We don't need to have really thick pizzas. We'll have thin ones today. Okay. I think this will be fine. So I'm just going to re-measure it out because we added all of those greens. I don't know if my 1.5 could be a little bit extra now. So I'm just going to measure it out. We can always add in extra if we need. Need a fork. So I'll just add a bit at a time. Oh, I said I was going to measure it. Trying to be good. I'm just going to, it looks about the right. 1.5. You might need to add extra. Obviously, I didn't measure the flour that great, so I think there's probably a little bit more than 4 cups of flour in here, so I might need to add a bit more water. So what happens when you don't follow recipes correctly? So I'm just going to add a bit of water into here. Keep it nice and green. Try and get as much of that green goodness off as possible. Oh, it's so sticky. Is the Hawaiian sweet potato like a kumara? Yes. Gosh, they're called so many different things all around the world. So I obviously grew up in New Zealand and we called them kumara. And that, or kumara. And then when I came to Australia, they're called sweet potato. And I've been in Australia now for, gosh, how long have I been in Australia? I think this is my coming up 9 years. So I've kind of just adapted to calling things. And they're not the same over here. So over here you get a lot more of the gold ones, and the ones that are red with a white inside taste completely different to the ones in New Zealand. So I'm just not a fan of those ones. I don't like the orange ones. But yes, the Hawaiian sweet potato, I think also sometimes are they called something else? I feel like I've got the purple on the one that's purple on the inside, purple on the outside, and they call that yams, I think, in America, in other places in the world. So yams, sweet potatoes. So oil on your hands. Okay, good tip because it's quite sticky. It's okay, we can make a mess. To be honest, I'm going to make a mess anyway. A little bit more flour. This one doesn't look as green as the last one I made, but I think with that one that I made last time, I mainly used sweet potato leaves, and because they're darker green, that dough was a lot more pigmented. This one is still green. And you just want to add a little bit of flour if it's getting too sticky, and just keep rolling it to form a dough. So we've got our green dough. Clean out that bowl a bit. I'm just going to put it back in the bowl. Just check that it's not too hot. So it's not very warm. Like, I think that's probably only like, I don't know, 30 degrees in there. It's not that warm. just enough to try and get that to rise a bit. I'll just wash my sticky hands. Kneading dough is the new workout. Yeah, I probably could have given that a little bit extra, but trying to be fast here. And also trying not to get too much mess. All right, so the dough is rising. If you were not under time pressure, I would let that go for an hour-ish. But we won't. We will just wait probably 10 minutes in a warm place. So let's prepare our toppings. So I've got some thyme, which I'm going to put on the pizza as well, on the topping with the pesto. So the pesto, I let that defrost. I'm just going to mix it around, the fennel pesto. I have the recipe for this fennel pesto on my website, and I also have a like a garden pesto, basically the same, just different greens. Using up all your wholly vegetables. So if you've got wholly vegetables from caterpillars, then you can make a pesto. Because it doesn't matter once they're blended up there, no one's going to know that the bugs ate it. I might just add a little extra of olive oil to that to get it nice. It smells so good. It's basically just fennel, fronds, garlic, walnuts, some oil. I can't remember the rest of the recipe, so check that out on the website. Okay, got that. So while we chop up our toppings, I'm going to put all the scraps in this bowl, and then I'm going to show you what I do with my scraps after we fill that up. A few different things that I do with my scraps, but so this is all the tops of the spring onions. I mean, I'm still going to put some of the tops on the pizza. Probably put, throwing things around like that can still go on the pizza. So we'll slice that up. Oh, it smells so good. So fresh. Broccoli. Look at my little broccoli. It's so cute. It's only a little one. You guys had broccoli on pizza? It's pretty good. Heaps of people have issues with broccoli because they had it as a kid and they hated it. Which is the case for me with some things, but not broccoli. I was scarred by many different things that my parents cooked. So I'm just going to put the broccoli in a bowl and the broccolini. I might just chop the stalks up quite fine. Because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a bit of oil on that so that they are not dry. So the sweet potato, we are going to cut with the mandolin because I'm going to do it nice and thin. Because normally if I was going to put some pumpkin or sweet potato on pizza, I tend to pre-cook it a little bit so that I knew it was cooked. But I'm not going to do that this time, so I'm just going to cut it really thin. There you go. You get to see the inside of the Hawaiian sweet potato. The interesting thing about these sweet potatoes is they all cook so differently and have different flavors. Like the purple one is purple on the outside, purple on the purple on the inside. It is horrible roasted. Don't know why, but it's good as mashed potato or as like boiled sweet potato, but not roasted. That one is going to be too thin. Let me find another one. Medium, maybe. Oh, it smells like onions, like spring onions in here. So good. See if this. Yeah, no, it's still too thin. I probably could just cut it. Like, as you can see, like it's so thin, it'll probably just burn. Can I get this off? Of course I can't get this off. Pesto, carrot top, yes, carrot top pesto. Oh, I can't get this off. You can literally make pesto out of anything. So I love pesto. That's the thing. So, and I love that you can just freeze it and reuse it. Third time lucky. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's got like weird patterns in it. So it's nice and thin, should cook nice and fast, but I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on that as well. Oh, pesto, onion. It smells so good in here. Okay, what else have we got to put on the pizza? We've got the onion, we've got the broccoli, we've got the pesto, we've got the sweet potato, we've got a green chili that I did freeze, so it's like a little bit soggy. But, and I just dropped on the floor, but that's okay. We rinse that off. So I'm just chopping up the green chili. Put the end of the chili in there. Any of my scraps are going to go in there. Now, I do have some things that I'm going to put on the pizza that aren't from my garden. I'm going to put them on a different pizza, so we can have like a garden pizza and then we can have a extra pizza. And that is these horrific things right here. I hate mushrooms. Hate. There's not many, like, I eat pretty much anything. There's only a few things that I dislike. One is mushrooms. Hate mushrooms. Anyone else hate mushrooms? Oh, I hate the smell of them cooking. So they are not going to touch my pizza, but I am going to make a pizza for Halen, and he will probably not be so happy to just eat all these greens. So I've got to at least give him some mushrooms to eat. Okay, I think that's everything. Oh, we're going to put some of this on. So the rainbow chard is just going to be like you would put spinach on a pizza. So we're just going to finally there we go. Pop them back in there to keep fresh because we probably will make another. Now the sun is out and it's raining. Probably going to make another pickled rainbow chard stalk thing. Okay, let's see our dough and if it obviously hasn't been in there very long. It's risen a bit. Let's give it a little bit longer. So I'm just going to give that a little bit longer, but while I'm doing that, I thought I would show you this lighting. What we do with scraps. So obviously you can put your scraps in the compost, but another way that I've been using my scraps at the moment is, especially if it is like chilies and onions and things like that, is popping them in the freezer. I've got this bag here. Is that going to shut? Good work. It's not much in here at the moment because I did just make a batch. So basically I put all my scraps in this bag in the freezer, and then I make a stock, like a veggie stock or a veggie broth, using all the scraps. So chuck anything in here. Like I've got this is like zucchini that I've made zucchini noodles with, and it's just like the end piece. So we're going to chuck all of these scraps in here. The end of the sweet potato. I think that was pretty much it. We haven't got much waste. That's it. See if I can find the... So this is what that looks like, is I then make a veggie stock. So this is just all scraps of veggie stock. You can freeze it in glass. Just don't fill it right to the brim. That is definitely looking dodgy. Also in these giant ice cubes. So if you want some veggie stock and you just want, you know, like a tablespoon or more of veggie stock, then you can use these ice cubes. And then if you want more for soup, you have your jar. So veggie scrap stock broth. And I did make that in one video. It is on my channel under, it's like Creative Weekend Veggie Stock video. So if you wanted to make that, check that out. Just another way that you can use your veggie scraps, because otherwise they just get chucked in the compost, and at least this you get one more step out of it. You get to make a stock out of your scraps, and then because you strain them off afterwards, you still have some of the scraps you can put in your compost, and because they're cooked, they'll compost a lot faster. So it's just, you just get more for everything that you grow. So I've just put a little bit of oil on my broccoli. I'm going to put a little bit on my sweet potato. I should have done this earlier actually, because the purple sweet potatoes oxidize really quick. So they'll go a little bit brown. So you either want to don't cut them till the end, or you can put a little bit of oil on them. Let's do it. Okay. Let's do the dough. We're ready. Let's make some pizzas. That's what we're here for. So turn that up. I'm going to put that close to 200 degrees Celsius for the pizzas. Dough. Now we're going to roll out the pizzas. So just break off a piece. I mean, so you're going to get about 4 to 5 pizzas out of this dough. So just break off a quarter or however big you want your pizza. Ooh, so sticky. I've also got a dodgy rolling pin. Doesn't work that great. put some extra flour on so it doesn't stick. What did I do with the flour? Are you a more is more pizza person or a less is more pizza person? And any guesses what I am? Keep it simple or go all out. And because I didn't blend this like as well as I would normally do it, because my blend is dodgy, you can see all the little bits of herbs and leaves in there, which is actually quite nice. So I think if you blended it more, so it was like really, it would be a lot greener because all those little bits would have blended up. But as you can see, there's little bits still. Okay. That will be all right. We love a weird shaped pizza. All right, the fun bit. We're gonna make a pizza. Go all out and add more meat. I'm not vegetarian, but I do try to eat a lot of vegetarian just because I'm trying to eat what I grow. So that is why it's not a bit too hot for there. That is why I cook a lot of vegetarian, because I'm just trying to get creative with what I grow. And it's so much easier because I feel like you just rely on meat and then everything else is a side dish. But if you eat more vegetarian meals, you have to get creative. Otherwise, you're not just going to want to eat salad. So that is why I do that. And it's been quite an easy switch. Like even Halen, he doesn't mind that we eat mainly vegetarian as long as it's interesting. He's one of those weird people though that eats everything separately. It drives me nuts. So he'll eat the salad first and then he'll move on, and whereas I'm like everything on the fork, please. So we're going to put some pesto on here. It smells so good. Obviously, if you wanted to add, you could add whatever you want on your pizzas to this. Last time I added some pear as well because I had a pear in the fridge, which I don't today. So you could add, I also like pear on green pizza is good. Some feta cheese or something like that. I'm gonna put on our thyme. Then I'm going to put on some rainbow chard, some of the onion, sweet potato, broccoli, I'm going to put cheese on this as well because what is a pizza without cheese? Some people put cheese on the bottom, but I like to put my cheese on the top. Obviously, cheese is not from my garden, but we're doing some cheese. The sun is now out, and it's going to come in right through my window. Oh, the other thing was the chili. A little bit of chili. No, that's not enough cheese. All right, so we've got our green pizza base. We've got our green pesto from the garden. We've got our broccoli from the garden. We've got onion from the garden, rainbow chard from the garden, sweet potato from the garden, chili from the garden. Just not cheese or flour, all those other things. Cook. All right, let's make another one. The sun is not good. I'll also show you how I put these and prep these for the freezer. So if you do just want to cook one pizza, you can easily put them in the freezer and then you have a quick meal. Don't be rolling pin. I can't believe Tomo hasn't come for some cheese. He's got like the cheese nose. He knows when the cheese is coming out of the fridge. He is always right there. So this one we're going to make a little bit more with ingredients that, some extra ingredients like the mushrooms. Oh, that smells so good. I can smell the onions cooking. So for this one, because we're going to do that for Halen, I'm going to put some, what is this? Tomato paste. I used all the pesto on my one. So we've got tomato paste. And if you grow lots of tomatoes, you could make your own tomato paste and then freeze it in ice cubes as well. And then you could just pull out 1 serving of pizza sauce. And where is that thyme? There it is. We're going to put the thyme on there as well. That sun is right coming in the kitchen. The sun sets right. So I know it looks like I'm in my laundry, but it's like my kitchen is like this way, and then that's my laundry, and then this is my backyard here, and the sun sets right there, which is really beautiful. Not so great for lighting. All right. Oh, this smells so good as well. So this one, we're going to put on the onion and the rainbow chard. Bit of the sweet potato. And then these disgusting mushrooms. It's always a joke. Oh, that sun is... Let's see if I can fix this. Emergency. It was sort of a joke in our family about the mushrooms because I hated them so much. And my dad used to trick me into eating them. And I remember being at a wedding once and they had like crumbed balls, and I was like, oh, is this like, is that fish in there? Because he was eating them. He was like, yeah, that's fish. They're really delicious. You should try them. And it was a whole crumbed button mushroom, and I ate it like, oh, not good at all. Broccoli. This looks good, apart from the mushrooms. All right, so we've got, that is 1 pizza each. And the rest of the dough, we'll prep that for the freezer so that I can have a quick and easy meal when I need it. And I can just pull it out. It'll already be rolled and I can just chuck the toppings on. Oh, smells so good. Okay, so we just roll the dough. Oh. So yeah, it's probably a good recipe for 4 pizzas, I think. That is the perfect amount for 4 pizzas. Right, so we're just going to roll this one out as well. And then we will get that nice and stuck to the bench. Should really clean that. So this is a really good recipe for any sort of bread. I use this all the time for focaccia bread as well. And you can put all your herbs on it, cheese. And I have a recipe for that as well on my website for the focaccia bread. Garlic. All right, so this one is going to go to the freezer. I think you could just freeze it as a ball of dough as well, and then you could defrost that and then re-roll it out and let it rise again. But I like to just roll them out. They're ready to go, get them out of the freezer, chuck the toppings on, and I've got dinner really quickly. So what I have is this. It's compostable Glad wrap. It's quite tricky. It comes like pre-cut, so it doesn't have like a thing because the whole packaging is compostable. So it's perforated. Is that the word? So it does get kind of tricky. So put plenty of flour on it so it's not going to stick. You can also put this between baking paper, I think would work as well. There we go. And now I'd put that on a tray in the freezer so it freezes flat, and then you can take the tray out and you can just store it flat in your freezer. And then you just pull it out, let it defrost, chuck your toppings on, and you've got pizza ready to go. I did that with my last one that I made with the beetroot pizza, and it's so easy. I love having pizza bases ready to go. Jalapeno is my favorite chili. Yes, I did grow jalapenos a few times. I really liked growing them, although I found like the caterpillars loved them, which was weird. They loved eating the leaves. Hi, Michelle, or is that Holly? Green focaccia bread. Yep, we love that. Do pita, like, is it pita pockets? Pita pockets? As well with these. It's just a really easy dough that you can use for lots of different things. And because we just coloured the water, so we coloured the water green, obviously by blending up all these greens, you can do that with other things. So like I said, I've done a bright pink one using beetroot juice, which is on my website. That could be used. Now I'm thinking like I need to make rainbow pizza, or is that too much? I'm just going to put this straight on top of this one. Flour. Like, this stuff is a lot trickier to use, but I haven't had Glad Wrap in years because I don't like buying that. But this has been quite interesting to use, and it's all fully compostable and home compostable as well. So that's something you need, like when things say that they're compostable, you need to just make sure that they're home compostable, because quite often they're not. They need to be composted at a specific temperature that home composts can't do. All right, good to go. We've got pizza bases in the freezer. That's another meal ready to go. We've got pizzas in the oven. That's for dinner tonight. Oh, I've made a huge mess, but that's okay. We can sort that out later. I haven't got much leftovers though, so I've got a little bit of broccoli and rainbow chard in here left over that I haven't used, so I might use that up tomorrow. If not, I can pop that in the freezer with my scraps for the broth. But I'll probably just put this in an airtight container in the fridge. And again, these can just sit here until I figure out what I'm going to do with them, which is probably I'm going to pick all the stalks, or if I do have a stir fry or a curry tomorrow, I can just slice these up and chuck them in. Let's see how we're going. Yeah. Smells so good. Feta. Yes, I love feta on pizza. It is so good. But I didn't want to go and buy extra ingredients, because what I like to try and do, what I like to try and do is use what I've got and try and make things work. That way I just get better and better at coming up with dinner ideas and things that I can eat using what I've got, rather than always going out and buying more, because I find like if I do go to the shops to buy things, you just end up buying so much more things that you didn't need. So there's lots of things I could have put on these pizzas that I could have bought, but I tried to use as much as I could from the garden, and they're going to be delicious. Pizzas, I really wanted to put some basil on there, and I did have basil right up until probably a week ago. I had basil. and it's just being too wet and too cold, and it's just gone. Bye. So no basil left in the garden. But what I might do, this is what I wanted to do this week, was to start an indoor garden, because I've got obviously a lot of sun that comes into my kitchen. So I'm going to do a little kitchen garden here with some herbs, like some basil and stuff that I can't grow outside at the moment, because then I can use that. I do have a really nice sunny windowsill, so I might try that out this week. Oh, that's what I was going to put on. I wanted to put walnuts. That was another thing I was going to put on my pizza. Walnuts are also really good on pizza. They add that little bit of crunch and texture. That is okay. All right. Might make a tea. Well, we're just waiting for that to cook. Got my same tea blend that I made in my last live, if you were here for that, which was lavender, mint, lemon verbena, and lemon. Which I have right here. What is your favorite pizza? Let me know. I don't know if I can pick a favorite pizza. I do love pineapple on pizza though. Very controversial, but I'm 100% fruit on pizza kind of person. All right, let us brew that up. Rainbow pizzas, yeah. I think we'll give it a bit of go. Just boiling the jug, the kettle. Get ready for the pizzas. Yep, that is going to be ready in a minute, not far off. Once I make my tea, we're going to cut that pizza up and we'll see how good it is. I've got high hopes. I'm not going to obviously try the one with mushrooms because oh, what's this? Yeah, still doesn't want comfort cheese. Pizza cutter. Where is my pizza cutter? Oh, I'm starving, you guys. It smells so good. Pizza cutter. Brew that around. All right, let's do it. We can't wait any longer. We need to see this pizza. Oh, that's a good piece. It is so hot. I've cut this so messed up. Some are square, some are triangle. What's the best piece? Don't know. This one looks pretty good. Show you what this is. Green pizza. We've got sweet potato, we've got broccoli, we've got rainbow chard, onions, and fennel pesto, some chili, and cheese. It's a good time. I feel bad that I can't share it with you guys. And the purple sweet potato looks really nice as well. That big piece in the middle. I don't know if you can see it, this piece here. I like stuffed up my cutting so bad now I didn't know how to cut it. Maybe straight through the middle, and it can be like a long slice. The sweet potato is so good. And because I cut it really thin, it cooked in time. So yeah. Oh, pesto pizza is delicious. I will put together, it's not very good, I can't show you. I'll put together the recipe for this pizza. Very strong brew. Smells like lavender. I'll put together the recipe for this green pizza, and then I will pop that on my website. But the recipe for the pink pizza is already on there. The recipe for the pesto is already on there. So if you do want to give it a crack, then I'm sure you better figure it out. Obviously, I feel like pizza is really easy. You don't need to measure it too correctly, because I was just throwing it together and it worked. It's delicious. It is a good time. And I feel like I've got food in my teeth, which is great. The joys of live. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you did manage to stick around for the whole time, I'm trying to figure this out, the whole cooking thing, how to not make it take forever, but usually, obviously, cooking things takes a while. So we will figure it out. This pizza is delicious. I definitely wish I could share it with you. And just keep an eye out on my channel, because I'll try and do a few more polls for what we should cook next, because that was kind of fun. And then that way you guys get to decide what we cook. And I'll try and do some different ones, maybe something sweet. Been craving like cooking a pie, like a winter pie, what's a winter pie? I don't know, like an apple crumble or a rhubarb pie, something like that. Although I'm not growing any rhubarb. Meringue pie, I am growing lots of lemons. We could do that. Something like that. So let me know what you'd be interested in me cooking. And I'll try and do it. Figure around 5 for some of that. Oh, it's so good. I love pizza. I'm definitely a pizza person. Give me a pizza any day. Maybe some pineapple would have been good on this. The pesto. It's the pesto. It's what makes it. Which is this. Just this. Fennel from pesto. So good. Oh, that's good too. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got some inspo to cook your own green pizzas or your own pizzas. And yeah, let me know if there is anything that you want to see me cook next time, because I'm open to suggestions. I like the idea of the whole poll thing because I'm really bad at decision making, and that way I don't have to decide. So thank you if you did vote in my poll. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. I'll hopefully try and get another one up do another live on Sunday, but sort of play that by ear. But I'll try and release the poll later in the week so that you'll at least know if it's happening or not. And I hope you all have an amazing week ahead. Bye.